Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Kevin Okwana here. How's everyone doing? Hop in that chat. Let me know that you are alive and ready to rock this thing out. How we doing, Bruce? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Joseph, Brian, Steve, Preston. Cool. So here's the thing. We kind of upgraded this one. Typically this would have been a webinar for affiliates, just affiliates. But what we did was, and can you guys all see my screen real quick? Make sure you guys can see my screen. No, all right. All right, cool. So now we can officially get started. All right, so you can see my screen now. So this morning, late last night for me, I got in a call with Hitesh. He had just flown back in, and we went over a lot of stuff that really needs to be hammered home and really needs to get out there to the masses. And you guys just have to wrap your head around this. And we've got a couple announcements that we need to make out here tonight. And the thing is, this was originally an affiliate webinar, right? This is what it was going to be. But we kind of upgraded it so everyone can hop on here and see what's really happening behind the scenes, because what most people don't realize if you're new to DS, even if you've been here for a while, is that DS Domination has just hit, we're about to hit our 2-year mark as a company. And the fact of the matter is, not many companies even make it that far in their industry, let alone at the level at which we're operating right now and where we're going. And a lot of times when you're in DS Domination or you're in the groups and you hear, the one or two people or, talk about something that doesn't work for them or that's negative, what you miss out on is the vast majority of people of what they're doing and how they're succeeding with this. So we want to kind of highlight a little bit of that and show you from the background exactly how big this really is and how big DS Domination has become and what that means for you as somebody who's inside of DS Domination growing their business. So we want to kind of hammer that home because there's some numbers last night that Hitesh we went over, and it was staggering to me because I didn't even realize that we were at these levels in certain aspects of this company. So I want Hitesh to kind of walk through this stuff and show you guys exactly where we're at. And just keep in mind, we're only 2 years old, okay, and we've hit these numbers, that we've hit this level of lives impacted with DS Domination, and you guys have all been a part of that. So, Hitesh, brother, are you here?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I gotcha.
All right, beautiful. Well, let's like Kevin said, we are coming up on 2 years of DS Domination, and we're so far, I think rightfully so. So far, we have still been in the stage of kind of establishing ourselves. We're still kind of building ourselves into the system that we want to be. Right? We haven't really finalized that because we're still making stuff. We're still building our stuff. We're still doing all the stuff, all these things. And the reason for that is not because that we need to, right? A year and a half ago, all we were is a collection of training videos. We didn't need to have a lot of the things that we decided to build out, and so far we're just paying for it ourselves. We haven't raised the prices for customers or anything like that. It's all been with the intention of taking us to a completely different level, because I think there is a level that exists for us in the space that we are that is different from a typical network marketing company. So let me take a very quick poll, okay? Let's see. Can you guys give a guess on how much revenue you think the DSD members have generated in e-commerce in the past 2 years? Okay, we are coming up on 2 years, so in the last 1 year and 11 months. Let's go ahead and do a little contest. Can you guys give us your estimation? So we have all sorts of numbers ranging anywhere from 10 million, 4 million. So we have numbers ranging from 4 million to 100 million, $500 million. Great. All right. So let me put this in perspective for you guys. At our last event, a few months back, actually a month and a half back, at our last event, just the people that were standing up on the stage alone were responsible for about $40 million. Okay, just those people were about $40 million. And I'm going to show you guys something really interesting. We took our automation stuff live right about a month and 10 days ago. Okay, that's when we took it live, and then we rolled it out slowly over time, and we really had our automation itself fully live for the last 20 days or so. Okay, and I've zoomed in because we don't want to show people's data down here, but here is the actual number just over those days. Okay, this is we are about to hit $15 million. I mean, we might actually hit we'll probably get pretty close to $15 million here in the next few hours. I think we'll hit $15 million just in those days. Okay, this is from the listings that DSD members have created using the listing building system that they're tracking within our system, and we are receiving on average 3 to 6 sales every minute. Okay, these are actual sales. This is just on eBay. Just the members who have actually connected their accounts, which is not very many. It's less than 25% so far. And this doesn't include Amazon. It doesn't include Bonanza. It doesn't include any of that stuff. So we took this, and I took the previous data that we had, added it all up, extrapolated, and we, based on that data, have just crossed about $2 billion with a capital B. Okay, so just so it's clear, 2 billion. That's 2 with 9 zeros. Has been generated in e-commerce sales revenue by our DS Domination members. Now, I said this at the event. I said it at webinars before, and I don't think you guys get it at times. This is not a small feat. This is not a small little company. This is not somebody trying to sell you a make money online system so they can make money as an affiliate. This is a very, very different thing. This represents the largest and the strongest e-commerce arbitrage community that exists at this point. Let me give you a very slight example. I believe, if my numbers are right, I believe Overstock generated $1.5 billion as the entire company. $1.5 billion in revenue. We generated about $2 billion in revenue over the past 2 years, but majority of our revenue has come in the last year and a half, right? Actually, even less than that. In the last 9 months or so is when we've had all of our tracking and all of these metrics in place. I want you guys to grasp for a second what we are. We so much conduct ourselves, all the Facebook groups and everything else. This is conducted so much like some tiny company with, oh, why is the website not working fast enough and so on. Here is why. Because we are literally tracking over 2,000 products a minute. We are literally getting about 6 to 8 sales every minute that are actually coming in, successful sales coming in that we're trying to take care of, that we're trying to manage the whole process from beginning to end. And we're trying to do it without charging our members an arm and a leg. We don't want to do that. And we are getting to the point now where we are working out some deals that will elevate us from being a network marketing company that exists in this space and has an affiliate program and all that stuff to basically being elevated to a true transactional company. And that was our aim, right? That was the aim. That's what we started the process of at this last event. And that process is actually going really well so far. We're actually well underway. I know when you look at sometimes the Facebook, and trust me, I mean, we look at everything. We try and deal with every complaint that we can. We try to take care of every single thing possible. We have grown in a way, in not just the gross numbers of members. We have grown in a way in terms of the activity of our members that it's really just become a massive system. And a lot of the times what you'll realize is there is a silent majority. Silent majorities exist in a lot of different things, right? Exist in political spheres and whatnot. But the silent majority in DSD is members who are just chugging along. You don't see them on Facebook. You don't see them on webinars. You don't hear from them very often. But they're just quietly busy generating their $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month doing their e-commerce. And it's so important that you guys realize what you're a part of and where we're going with this and what we expect that you guys can do to a really big level. And this is one of the reasons why we elevated this from being just an affiliate webinar to being a corporate webinar. because I think the way we conduct ourselves as a whole, the way our community works, that was the other big shift. We are a very community-centric company at this point. We are all about who is doing well, what can we learn from them, what can we teach from them, how can we involve them in the process. We really started doing that a lot, and we are basically doing a good job of it, even if it sometimes doesn't feel like it, right? So I think there have been like 24 updates released on our automation side, dealing with all the bugs, all the tweaks, everything like that. That's what, and again, this is all free stuff. We haven't charged you guys a penny for it. We have released all this new stuff, and you guys don't pay anything extra, and you won't for a while until we are personally satisfied that this thing is perfect, and we actually consider at that point raising the price. We're not going to raise any prices for anybody. And then this also brings up a very big question. You have all these companies out there where they have these massive press releases and huge celebrations going on because they just crossed a $20 million mark, or they just generated $5 million in revenue and things like that. And here we are at a level that really kind of shocked us. When I actually sat down and collected all the data yesterday and looked through it, it really was kind of shocking where we actually stand. And you're going to start seeing a lot of this play out. You're going to see a lot more of the media attention to this, the press releases and news stories and things like that coming out here soon. But it's just a tremendous movement. Okay, this is no longer something that we can call a little company that we started out because we saw some problems in the world. It's really become a very tremendous movement. It's very exciting for us to spearhead it. It's very exciting for us to see it take shape over time the way it has. And it's very exciting for us to know where it's headed, because there are things that we're trying to pull off right now that are just, to us, very incredible as well. So there's all of that, and we want to address how this works out for our affiliates, what this means for our affiliates in many ways.
And real quick, before we
decision that we made, yes.
I'm sorry, before we get into that, I just want to kind of hammer one quick point home, and that's that this $2 billion in sales, the people that did this, the folks that made these sales, it wasn't Kevin, Hitesh, and Jason. It was everyone on this call. It was everyone in the system going through the training and doing the training. So you guys really need to give yourselves a big round of applause. A lot of times, I mean, from our side of the house, it's amazing to us, and Hitesh has brought this up to me, and we've talked about this many times, that our members continue to just astound us with what they do. And this hitting this $2 billion mark without even trying. Okay, I was in a network marketing company where it was a march to $1 billion, and I don't even think they ever got there. And they had all the momentum in the world, and you guys silently did this. So you need to give yourselves a round of applause on this one. You need to be excited for what you've done, and double your efforts, because it's impressive and it's amazing, and you guys just are awesome for taking this and running with this training and running with these concepts. And we're thankful for you guys every day. But this $2 billion in sales is your milestone. It's not really our milestone. It's something that you guys hit, okay, collectively. So just with that in mind, I just want to toss that out there.
Absolutely, exactly. It's very, very true. This number is not a number that exists because we have the best thing that exists. We do, but that is a secondary point. We have this number because we have users, and we have very motivated users. We have people who start using this. They realize that, yeah, this is the way to go. It's not about recruitment-driven MLM schemes or pyramid schemes or whatever. This is about a genuine system. And actually, if you compare the revenue versus what the affiliates alone have generated, I mean, it's peanuts. You can't even compare. This is one of the reasons why at our event we had this attorney who came over, and he said, this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this in any kind of MLM, because this doesn't happen in MLMs. MLMs don't see majority of their user base, their customers, generating revenue. It sees only their affiliates generating revenue, right? So it's a tremendous accomplishment. It's a beautiful thing. You're going to see a lot more hype about this and so on. And really, we should have probably dressed it up and celebrated that way. And we will when it comes time for our 2-year anniversary. We will probably have some shindig like that. But for now, I just really want you all to understand that we truly do have a system on our hands here, which is working tremendously well, that has already changed thousands of lives, has created thousands of jobs, is probably going to go forward. And if we do this right, and if we have you guys' support doing this right, we'll probably be one of the most defining companies in the future. Probably like many of the companies that we see today, and we're like, oh, this is amazing. You know, I wonder how this was created. Well, you're seeing it happen right now. Okay, it's very, very exciting for us. And obviously, you can imagine how this opens up doors for a lot bigger things for us as well. And we are going to be doing those lot bigger things, and we're gonna expose those to you guys here down the road. You know, we don't like putting dates on everything because we have so much on our plate already to put out there and make sure that everything is perfect and working beautifully for every member, right? We know it's working really well for majority of the users. I mean, I can come in here and I can look at these numbers and I know it's working really well for majority of our users. I can search by usernames and see which username is doing how much. I can see the 10 sales come in a minute suddenly, and I know it's working very well for majority, but we want to make sure it's working really well for every single user. So one word of advice is we constantly have new users coming in, okay? And many of you are older users, you have a lot more experience, but we constantly have new users coming in. And one of the things that I've noticed is that sometimes get scared away because a lot of the things, in the name of transparency, we've always kept ourselves very open to criticism. We have always encouraged people to tell us openly if there's anything that's going wrong or anything bothering them. But in many ways, our Facebook groups sometimes become a place where people go and basically treat it like a support desk, and they say, oh, you know, today I tried to make a listing and the listing didn't work, you know, what's going on, why is it not working? And it oftentimes scares away new people who have just came in and they don't realize that there is this incredible power that's in their hands, and they get scared away. They don't even make listings. I actually got a person who wrote and said, I saw all these people said there were these issues, so I've only made 2 listings. I'm going to hold off until everything is fixed. And I was like, no, you don't get it. For 90% of the people, this is working really, really, really well. You really got to get in there, start making listings, even if you don't use any automation. Build your listings, get your accounts going, and do really well. So I would really like to see us, encouraging our new members like that. I would really love to see a lot of you guys, share your results, talk about how well you've done, and how it's morphed over time. It's transformed tremendously over time. It's going to keep transforming as we go forward. But I also want to make some time and address something. We really have de-emphasized our affiliate side, right? We just in general, we have always talked about our customer base. We've always tried to keep it very, very customer centric. But you guys really have to appreciate and thank and just celebrate the affiliates, because without the affiliates, we would not have the customers to begin with, right? It's the affiliates who, through their efforts, bring the customers in, and then these customers transform their lives. And some of them go on and become huge successes down the road. I mean, I look at some of the guys like Matt McCormick, and I look at his numbers. I think he just crossed $1 million in sales on Amazon individually. Okay, that's just one guy. Just one guy did over $1 million. We have multiple other people who have crossed $1 million as well. So you look at that, it's a beautiful feeling, but I really want to appreciate and thank the affiliates for this as well. And that was the other reason for, making this a full corporate webinar, not just for our affiliates, because I think they deserve recognition for the tremendous work that they have done and the way they've helped grow the company and all the wonderful things. So I want to take a moment and address how this actually affects our affiliates. As you know, going forward, we're going to adopt our transactional model. Right, so our transactional model essentially now pays our affiliates a commission on when somebody in their downline generates some sales, okay? And it basically goes like this. It's 0.03% on level 1, 0.02% on level 2, when you have referred somebody who generates a sale and they're only using tracking and management or listing creation. They're only using that kind of automation. They're not using anything else. It basically pays you 0.03% and 0.02%. When somebody is using automated order fulfillment as well, they're using the whole shebang. They're doing everything with it. In that scenario, you get an additional 0.3%, 0.2%, and then on level 3, 0.1%. Okay, so that basically together adds up to 0.65%. Okay, Now, it doesn't sound like a lot of money at first, but let's put it in perspective. If you were getting, you're not obviously you're not going to get 0.65% on every sale because not everybody's going to use all the automation all the time. So let's assume that you only get an average of 0.3%. Okay, let's say you get only an average of 0.31%. Okay, so we'll just calculate it based on that. If you had 0.31% across the $2 billion that has been done so far, that would have been an additional $6.2 million in sales, in commissions for our members. Is that right, or is it 620,000? That's the point here, that we want our affiliates to be rewarded from the life-changing income that's generated by our customers, not just purely from referring customers and so on. I mean, our ideal dream scenario would be where we are able to offer everything for free to everyone because we are entirely a transactional model. That would be a beautiful thing, and that is a direction that we are trying to work towards. That's one of the big reasons why we have not charged for any of the software or any of the automation, because we want to try and keep that side completely cost-free our members and keep everything entirely transactional based. Okay. Now, at the same time, we feel confident enough, looking at these numbers, we feel confident enough that we believe that we can now actually start pursuing the true growth phase that we have been working towards for a while, but I think now it's time. Kevin and I have held back on marketing quite a bit. Jason has kind of held us back on purpose. We all want to make sure that we have a system that's working, that we have the data to back up that what we're doing is actually a positive thing. Right? Anybody can go out there and promote any scammy MLM or whatever and make money off of that. Okay, there's a lot of people who can do that. We have held ourselves back until we were convinced that we had a system that was genuinely working really well for all of our members, that was genuinely working for majority of our users to generate real income for our customers. So now we're going to be entering what we are labeling, internally our first true growth phase, where we're actually going to go out there. We have a lot of partnerships that we are forming, a lot of different deals that we are making, and we're going to start growing this company in a very tremendous way. And we would really, really like to see our affiliates join in, and members who've kind of held themselves back, and they're kind of like, oh, I don't know if this thing works. I'm going to wait and see what happens here. Well, you have undisputed evidence at this point that this works really well. I keep wanting to scroll down because I want to show like all these sales that are happening in here. But I can't because it's obviously we can't expose details of other people's data in here. But it's just tremendous stuff that's going out here. Here is some piece of advice for all of you: get involved. Okay, get involved. Don't just stand on the sidelines. This is a tremendous thing. It's hard to put in words how tremendous this is, because almost any company today that is growing is a venture capitalist funded free service. Okay, that's usually the companies that are growing out there. It's like Instagram or whatever. They're viral companies that have no sales potential associated with them. There is no quantifiable actual benefit to the customer in terms of their financial well-being. And we have all of those things here. And I don't know of any other company that's doing quite as well as we are at this moment. So don't stand on the sidelines. Get involved. If you are an IDP member, especially, just go and watch all the affiliate training stuff, because it's not about how to go and sell stuff out there or how to get this sold to other people. It's about how can you increase the family size. How do you basically make us bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on? Because that's how we will take this to the next level. So it's kind of a very polite appeal for get involved, because we are doing things on our side that is going to just tremendously boost our numbers. It's going to make us huge. We are moving a lot of manufacturing, warehousing, and stuff like that in-house. We have our own warehousing relationships already done, and so on. And it's good time. We're going to roll all those things out for all of our users, and all these beautiful things are happening. But we're giving it time. We're doing it the proper way. I think we have rushed in the past to try and get too much out together, and we're behaving like a corporate entity that commands the $2 billion share in the e-commerce pie. I think we are kind of trying to behave more in line with that. So first of all, can I hear how many of you guys have actually generated sales on here? How many of you are on here who have actually made sales so far in using DSD?
This is beautiful.
Awesome.
This is great.
Yep. Somebody is
We need to
over
we need to
half a
ask
million
this
so
on
far.
we need to ask this on Facebook and let everyone comment there. This is nuts. You guys are amazing. And I want to clarify because I see a couple questions, Hitesh. That 2 billion in sales, that is a small piece of what is actually happening. It's just what we're tracking. Can you elaborate? And it's just on the eBay side, guys.
Well, it's eBay because we don't have the exact numbers on Amazon. We do know from our unofficial tracking on Amazon side that people are, in many cases, actually making more on the Amazon side than they are on the eBay side. But this is based on numbers that we have. We have about 12%, 11 to 12% of our user base is actually tracking all of these numbers in here. Okay, so some of our biggest guys who have a lot of traffic, who have a lot of sales, who have a lot of stuff going on, don't even have this tracking activated. Okay, so that's why when I look at this, when I show you this number, it's actually not including all of those people. Secondly, we were not tracking for majority of our first year, right? So we have some extrapolation to do to try and figure that out. So I actually have a diminishing return extrapolation that you guys might know about it for those who are interested in math or statistics at all. And it basically is a number based upon that. So that's basically where that comes from. I actually suspect that our numbers are even higher than that, but this is the closest that we can get from our estimate at this point. So hopefully that explains to you guys. We're trying to keep it very low key because we have like a concentrated effort that we're going to put out there with all of our numbers are in there. We're going to get our Amazon automation rolled out. We're going to have our Bonanza automation rolled out. We're going to track everything together then, and that will be a very different, then it'll be a very different picture because we'll be able to tell you a lot more precisely how well our members are doing. But just this alone, I mean, just these numbers alone, I think are tremendous. They're tremendous numbers. I think they're very exciting to see. In fact,
we were kind of refreshing that like giddy school children last night because the number just goes up. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's awesome.
I'm actually going to go ahead and pause the screen quick and see if I can refresh, and maybe you guys will see a difference already. All right, so in the time that we were talking, it's about $10,000 more that has been generated, as you can see.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Again, guys, this is just what we're tracking in the system right now. Since
yeah. So okay. Anyways, sure, we can all be super excited about it and be like, "Oh, this is amazing! Look at what we're doing!" But I don't think it's time to rest on our laurels quite yet. I want to go over some updates that we have put out already, and I also want to talk about some of the things that you guys might have come across, and I want to make sure that those things are addressed, and let's get those to be better as well. Okay. Okay. So there are quite a few updates that have been done, and issues that we have addressed already. I think a lot of the people have not noticed those issues that we have fixed so far. The first is, and this is funny because a lot of people said, the tracking and management wasn't working fast enough. Can we make it faster? Today, I have a lot of complaints from people saying it's working too fast and we're getting too many emails all the time about all the changes it's making. So on tracking and management, we are up to about 5 runs per day. We are actually a little over 5 runs per day. So we are actually tracking them close to 4 to 4.5. Every 4 to 4.5 hours, we're going through every listing and revising the prices on it, and so on and so forth. On the listing builder, one common issue that, and I say common because amongst all the issues, this is the common issue, is you might get a notice that says, try again in a few minutes or in a few seconds. And that is basically a scenario where we have hit the API limits on all the different services that we're using, all the different systems that we're using. And we've already applied for higher API limits. I think basically everybody, including us, underestimated how much use people will be putting on the stuff. So we have something about 3,000 call limit per minute right now, and we are getting that up to about 6,000 in the next, hopefully the next 3 days. Actually, they've told us it will be done within the next 3 days. So this issue of try again in a few seconds will actually just completely go away as we have a greater API limit available, so people will be able to use it together a lot more. Okay. In terms of how well is it working, I think I showed the numbers right in the beginning. The listing builder alone has been responsible for about 800-some thousand listings created, and it's working very, very well. People who are using Listing Builder in general are getting better rankings, are getting more sales. That's because of the things that we do in the back end. First of all, you have a lot better SEO happening if you're following the training. But on top of that, in the background, we have some interesting view generation and so on, which in turn generates better ranks for you. You get more sales coming out of that. So you should be trying to use this, okay, as much as you can. And what about the emails? Or you are being incorrect. Okay, so there was an issue where you would get an email from the tracking system, and it would say, "Hey, you have a product that we were tracking, but this product seems to be invalid," and it would have the wrong source in it. We already fixed that. Actually, we got the reports on it as of 16 hours ago. That issue has been fixed. So if you get a new issue like that, please open a support ticket, and we can take a look at that. Regarding the image cropper, okay. So we had an issue with Wayfair where when we would pull the images from Wayfair, they were 400 by 400 pixels, which are too small to be used. And then our system would basically give you a warning and you were not able to use the cropper on it and so on. That has also been fixed. You might come across that with Walmart now, but that's just simply because Walmart has smaller sized images on their site. That's not something that is on our side. Yes, also, guys, I know that it seems like Facebook is a better way to get a hold of people, but it's not usually. It's not best if you have a support issue. So if you have a support issue, you open a support ticket, it at least gets to us faster. It gets to people who can fix it a lot faster. Okay. So this is, by the way, this is open for any more questions. So any of you have questions, throw them out there, and we'll address them right now. Is the tracking working for listings that were not created with a builder? Yes, of course. You can actually import your listings, even if you created them manually, and they will still be tracked for you. Okay. Support is too slow or non-responsive. Well, hopefully you see the reason why. The numbers are astronomical, and we have very, very engaged users. I'll give you guys an example. So it's not just an example. This is actually legitimate. Let's say that you were to start a restaurant today. Okay, what you would do is you would look at other restaurants around you, and you would look at that and say, all right, these restaurants have 100 customers a day, and they have 12 employees, and they do really well. They're able to handle everything. Give me just 1 second, okay? I'm just gonna.
All right, while we wait for Hitesh, I'm gonna go through a couple of these questions. I want to hear where he was going with that. I think I know.
Sorry about that.
Oh, there we go.
Kids are home, so yeah. It's nice. It's nice to be back home instead of being in a hospital for a while. But at the same time, it has its own fun challenges. So you look at the restaurants around and you say, look, these restaurants the restaurants in general have 100 customers a day, and we should be able to handle it with 12 employees just fine. And that's how we do it as well. We look at other companies in our niche, in digital product niche, and we look at that. We go, well, they are able to. They have 100,000 customers, and they're able to handle it just fine with 20 employees. So that should be a good ballpark for us as well. Okay, that's how we go about it. There's a completely different scenario that happens. So let's say you have the restaurant, and your restaurant, you produce such astounding food that you still get 100 customers like everybody else, but these 100 customers stick around all the time, and they want your food. And if they don't get the right serving size, they get upset because they're really, really engaged. The engagement that we have with our customers is through the roof. It's a completely different level. In other companies, the back office isn't available for a while, or the videos are down for 5 minutes. Nobody really cares as much because nobody really uses those videos. business, right? I mean, sure, you have this product company, and the ebooks were not downloadable for a little bit. You're not gonna. It's not the end of the world, right? I mean, you're just not gonna know how to meditate really well upon your success and interact well faster, I guess. That's what you're going to be missing out on. In our scenario, if something goes down for a little bit, it affects people's income. It affects this $2 billion pie. So we have a lot higher engagement, and that's why it sometimes feels like why support slower or why are things not being done fast enough and so on. And I promise you, we are working tremendously fast, and we have just recently also expanded our support staff. We have done all these things, and that's why these numbers are so important for us, because we are able to look at these numbers and we're able to plan out our future a lot better than we could in the past, because we are really we're in a completely different category, right? We're not like any other company. We're kind of in this very unique existence. We are this kind of network marketing company, kind of an MLM, but kind of a digital product company, but also a subscription service, and then now a transactional company, and then we have these partnerships going on because we're into manufacturing and warehousing. Like, we are in a very unique place. We're a very unique existence. So we have kind of learned that we can't go by estimates of comparing ourselves to other companies. So we just are kind of going all out right now. That's why we went to this community approach. We have this whole team of leaders who provides training. We have the whole team of leaders who is very engaged with all the customers, and we've just expanded our user base as well. So that's why it probably feels a lot like the support might be slow. But I will assure you of this, that any issue that comes up that needs to be addressed or needs to be fixed, and I think you've probably witnessed this with the listing builder especially, anything that comes up that needs to be fixed, it gets brought up to me, and we make sure that we fix it within 24 to 48 hours. And you've probably seen that with the listing builder especially. We have been doing really, really well on there. Jim, your question, look at my cropper in listing builder, because when I click on the picture, it says it can't be cropped because we can't take 450 by 450 to 500 by 500. That's exactly the point. The image that you're pulling in is smaller than 500 by 500. You can't crop an image to make it bigger. Cropping is the opposite of making stuff bigger. You're actually making it smaller. And that's why our system is giving you an error saying, hey, your image is too small. You can't crop this any further because it's not usable with eBay. Okay, let me explain the emails that you're going to get from the tracking and management. Okay, let's break down what these emails are and what they mean. You're essentially going to get 5 types of emails. Okay, the first email is going to be, there's really 3 broad categories. There are 5 total types of emails. You'll get an email that basically says there was a price change. Okay, a price change happened, and we changed your listing. Okay. That's the most common one that you will get. The next one you will get is that a price change happened, but we didn't change your listing. Okay, no change in listing, because the price of the source, the change on source, still leaves you profitable. Basically, there was a small drop in price at the source, and that is why we are not adjusting your price. That's a good thing. You don't have to worry about it. It just means that there was no reason to change your price because you have not become unprofitable. Okay. The other type of thing you'll get is that a product is out of stock, so we have ended your listing. Okay, these are the 3 primary type of emails that you're going to get. By far the largest quantity are going to be the first one, and then you're going to get about 30% of the time the second one, and you're going to get about 20% of the time these. Now you're going to get a few more, and these 2 are basically a type of error. You're going to get one which is invalid source or item not found. Okay, and this is basically when it says that, look, we went to the source that you submitted, let's say your Amazon product source or your overstock product, to check on it, but we were not able to get any data on this. This product might be invalid, it might have been terminated, it might have been changed, something has happened there. Please go and check on it. Now, sometimes, in a few cases, it is also because we were just not able to get any API data on it. Okay, that also happens sometimes. It's not super common, but it can happen. And we are actually shifting a few things in the background that will make that more reliable so it doesn't happen as often. But sometimes that also can happen. A combination of all of those is where our system will say that we were not able to find your listing, or we were not able to find the source, so we can't do anything. Okay, so we didn't do anything. And please go and check on the source and confirm that the source is accurate and it's actually legitimate and it's actually going to work. Okay, let me shift this around a little bit so it's more readable. Okay, the final type you're going to get is that we were able to get data on the source. Okay, the source is fine, but we couldn't make the change in eBay. And that can be because your listing in eBay has already ended. It can be because your listing in eBay did not allow the change. It could be because your token connected to the DSD account has expired, or it could be because your item on eBay has gotten in trouble. Okay, that's obviously the rarest scenario. That happens in very rare cases, but those are the only possible things. So those are the type of emails that you're going to get from tracking and management. Now today, for example, I did see there was a little bit of a panic because people were getting this email about, we haven't made any change in your listing. Now this becomes a lot more common now, because when we were doing price checks once a day, we would come across a lot of products where they needed to be updated. Now that we're doing price updates every 4 hours, we're doing 5 times, sometimes 6 times a day, you're getting a lot more emails saying there is no change in listing. And that freaks people out because they go, what happened here? Does this mean I need to go do something? And there was a kind of, I think, a little bit of a panic going on even in the Facebook groups about it. No, there's nothing wrong. It just literally means we did not have to adjust because you're still profitable, so you're fine. Okay. So does that help a little bit? Hopefully that clarifies what you're getting and so on. Okay, can we add a search function in tracking management? Absolutely. Already planned, already nearly done. We will have that out there very soon. Although I do like you having to scroll through 50 pages. It gives you a good impression of look at the work that you have done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just
very nice.
Why are the items on DSD not connecting with the URLs? They should be. There are a few cases where they were not. When, like I said, we released an update about 16 hours ago that should have addressed that as well. But if you come across any new items at this point, okay, from this moment on, if you come across new items where you define a source and it says this is invalid or it doesn't seem to work, then please go ahead and send a support ticket about it, and we'll go take care of that. Can you address the shrink wrap system, the shipping time frame, and so on? Yes, absolutely. We actually just made a post about the shrink wrap as well. We had to wait for the first few initial orders, and now it's a lot faster. We have a whole system in place, so whenever an order comes in, it goes through the system very quickly. We're actually going to move to an even higher level of speeding things up, so we can get the manufacturers involved directly, and it'll be even faster. And obviously, you guys get a discount on it. The solution is to bring in your own image to the uploader. Yes, you can put your own images in the uploader. You can use a bigger size of the image. We have a brand new training on the listing builder as well, which will cover all of the stuff, and that should take care of it. Will the image size limit of 250 kilobytes be increased? Yeah, we do have plans on increasing it. So far, it has barely ever needed to be raised. I mean, I think there's been a few hundred requests. Like by requests, I mean a few hundred attempts out of about 1 million. So it's a very, very small sample size that have ever needed an image size of greater than 250, but yes, we will consider it. Is there a way to eventually blow up pictures if the image is too small? We actually tried that right in the beginning. The problem with that was, and we did that very much, if it was 450 by 450 to be blown up, the image quality really degrades as you zoom in, automatically, and that starts messing with things a little bit, and then it doesn't sell as well and doesn't look as well, and so on. So that's why when it's less than 500, we kind of leave it up to the user to choose what they want to do. Okay, because we have to give you guys that autonomy, right? We can't literally grab it and do whatever we decide to do with it. So in the cases where you have an image that's too small, you will have a tiny bit of manual work, and this to me is a very good sign that users are getting so upset about having to do that manual work. It means that you've gotten addicted, which was our whole idea. You've gotten addicted to the ease of using the system, and when you can't do it, it kind of upsets you. So it's just a withdrawal syndrome and give away.
Help by upsetting, yes.
Yeah. Now we are doing everything we can to come up with solutions all the time. There is a different kind of an image processing engine that we are looking into working with that can hopefully have zoom in a little bit while still maintaining good resolutions. but then that would slow down the processing time for images and so on. So it's a give and take, and we have to strike the right balance. So we are working on it. Like I said, right now we're already talking about hundreds of thousands of listings we created using our system, and it's going over really, really well for majority of the users. So we're trying to make it perfect on those sites first, and then we will move into these more, niched and more special requests. With Wayfair, there were a lot of listings where the listing builder said the image size was too small. That was fixed already. Is there an issue where it says the listing builder says the URL is invalid? Okay, the invalid URL only happens on products when there is a block by the seller. So what happens is, in some cases, a vendor will specifically block API access to a few products. That is not in our control. That is not usually even in the control of the site, right? It's in the control of the person who puts it up. I'm not sure of the specifics here. There's no real way for us to know which one has it blocked and which one doesn't. But that's basically why. But in general, now you should not be getting an invalid URL or things like that. You can fix the pics if you use the old image crop. But yeah, exactly. So that's the other point. So you will notice that in your DS Domination back office, if you go under tools, you still have your legacy tools. And in your legacy tools, you have the link to the image processor. You have the photo scrambler. You can actually use that to zoom in a little bit if you want. You can use that for some random editing if you want to do it as well. Let's see, next question. Okay, will the compensation structure shown for affiliates change to reflect the percentage shown? Will it be? This is an addition to what you already earn. Okay, so nothing that you already have goes away. This new thing is basically on top of what you already make. Okay, so it's good news all around. This is not like, I mean, I've seen this a lot with network marketing companies. There's a spin on everything, so they get busted by the government for being illegal, and they'll come out and be like, we've decided to make this change and this is for your good, and it's not. I mean, they're just trying to cover themselves, or the company's not making enough money, so they come out with some change in the affiliate compensation plan and they spin it as this is somehow good for you, and it's not. This is all in addition. Okay, if you're not changing anything, you still make all the money you make, you just make this on top of it. Can you make it so that we can check off which of those emails we want? Absolutely, Doug. We already plan on doing that. In fact, that was on my list to do already, and I'm working on that. Okay, can you put a PDF document in back office that contains all the messages we receive? Yes, there's a new video coming out for that, and there's going to be a list of all the different messages you can get in there as well. Any plan for an FAQ? In fact, there is an FAQ that is often ignored, and the reason it's ignored is that the link to this is nowhere on the site. It's a page that we just created, and it will be in your back office very soon. So you actually have an FAQ that has all of these different questions addressed in there, and you will be able to use this to go through all of these issues. And I'm going to put the list of a lot of the stuff we're talking about. It's going to be in this FAQ page as well, and you're going to be able to find this FAQ page under training.
Yep. Also, another thing that we're doing on the last pro webinar that we came up with, a lot of you who were there, we had a Q&A session, and at the end we asked, what your most common questions were, and I've got those, and we're actually creating videos to address those. So in the pro section, at the end of the pro section, there's going to be an FAQ that is video tutorial orientated. Okay, and we'll look to do that in all the sections. The problem is doing that, and why we haven't done that in the past is because things change so rapidly. We'd make a video, put it up there, and oh, by the way, it's kind of useless now, right? But we have all those questions. So for those of you who are on that webinar and asked those questions, you're awesome. We appreciate it. I've got a snapshot of those. I'll be getting with Kenya and Skip, actually, who was on there helping us out, and we will be getting a video FAQ for you guys as well. So be lots of FAQs running around this place. Just want to toss it out there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. If the item is less than 500, what do we do? I think you mean if the image is less than 500 by 500, then what do we do? In that scenario, the training is there. You look at the training that you've already gone through for the manual stuff. You basically take the image, you blow up the image, or you look for a second image or a different image of the same product and use that instead. Vendor surge. Vendor surge is down the road. We already put out a timeline. And the timeline is actually, I think, still out there on the product in the announcements page. But the timeline basically said that vendor surge is the final move. We're going to release that. We're going to get to that after August, okay? Because we are going to be releasing Amazon automation next. We have Bonanza automation, Amazon automation, then we have the IDP co-ops. And then we will get to the vendor search side of things.
I think that'll be a hot topic, Hitesh, at our next event.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we will talk about the next event momentarily.
Okay.
I just want to address some of these questions quick. So Marlene, this is a great example actually. So this is what I get on my listing. No product found for product listing details. Funds from your sales will be unavailable and shown as pending in your PayPal account for a period of time. This is not an error. All that it's saying is that, look, your listing was successfully made on eBay. There is no other matching product for this particular UPC code. That's what product listing details means. And your funds from your sales will be shown as pending in your PayPal account for a period of time because you're probably a new user and you don't have enough history, so your PayPal account is not going to get the funds immediately. It's going to show as pending for a while. That it's all good stuff. It's just literally telling you that your listing was made and here are some things from eBay about it. Okay, so you're completely fine. That is not an error. You're all good to go, and that's addressed in the training as well. Okay. Why we get logged out after a few minutes while on DSD back office? Why do you have to do that? Now, we don't actually necessarily do that ourselves. In some cases, it's session settings that are intrinsic on your computer, and we can't control that. We actually extended our session setting to 30 minutes, so that should have addressed that already for majority of you. Why does listing builder sometimes get stuck? The working circle just keeps going and going and going, and she stops there, but I think she meant to include 3 or 4 other goings. That's exactly what I just said. We basically have so many people using it together that our API limits get reached, and then it doesn't work anymore. So we have already requested for an increase in our API limits, and those will be increased within the next 3 days, we've been assured, and that should take care of it. Can you use your event ticket discount to buy the shrink wrap system? No, because the shrink wrap system, you're not buying it from us. We have just negotiated a discount for you guys, and it's not related to us. It's for Genesis members only, and it is not. You're not paying us for it. It's actually going to the company that manufactures it, but we are just getting you guys a nice discount along the way. Is all we're doing. Okay, I think we're going to address like 3 or 4 more questions, and then we need to get on to the final aspects, because the most exciting stuff is yet to be disclosed. Okay, who has access to pull reports of our eBay accounts by our usernames? Nobody can access this data. So the data that I just showed you guys a glimpse of, the number that I showed you the glimpse of, nobody has access to it. Nobody can go over there and just grab all of that data or anything like that. It's encrypted and kept in a database, and it's only used for tracking purposes and fulfillment purposes. There is nothing else that goes on with it. So you're completely safe and fine. Okay, what is this error from tracking management? Unable to determine the quantity status of the listing item source. Basically, we went to the listing source. We went to the source, and we tried to ask it how much of this is in quantity. Like, is this out of stock or is it in stock? And the source was not able to tell us. They might have been going through an update. The page might have been down temporarily or something like that, and that's why it gives you that error. Now, that's one of the reasons why we go through every few hours, because sometimes we will miss those products because of random things like that, but then the next time you catch it, if there is a difference. Okay. Also put a sort feature on the listing to sort by time remaining, by price, sort by increments of 25, 30. Okay. Noted on the list. Okay, so the final, I'm just going to address the final thing about the auto ordering. So a lot of you will notice in your auto ordering, if you go and check the page, there will be a red message that says your credit card was not tokenized, and your credit card can get not canceled like at the credit card company, but it can get dropped from the tokenization system. And what tokenization means is, by law, we can't take your information, we can't take your credit card information and store it on our server, okay? Because then if somebody hacks the server, then they'll have access to it, right? So we don't store any credit card information with us at all. That keeps us safe. That's one of the reasons why we've done relatively well in avoiding any kind of attacks and so on. Now what you do is you basically take the credit card and you convert that into a token, and we send that token off to a third party, and we say, you hold on to this token, and then whenever we call upon this token, that's what it means. That in the background, it means this credit card information, and then that gets passed into Amazon, okay, or gets passed into whatever the retailer is that's being used. Now, if they're unable to verify your token for use, or they're unable to use it, then we'll keep dropping it, and you will see that thing turns red and says your token is not valid, the token is not being used. Now, in some cases, it'll have a green message saying your token is valid and the token can be used, but you will see that your auto ordering is not working, that none of the orders are going through. You're not getting any emails saying that we have placed the order on your behalf, or we're tracking the order and stuff like that. In those cases, all that's happening is that we are sending the request onto the token service, but the token service is not able to use your credit card, or it's not functioning properly on Amazon side and things like that. Now, we have some things that we are working on to make that more reliable and make it better, make it faster, and to send more messages along the way, right? To even send a message saying, we are currently attempting to process this, and if there is a problem, we will let you know. Stuff like that, just to get us to a higher reliability level. Now, from the statistics I have, there are people who are using auto ordering, and there are people for whom it's working, but it's obviously, it's not one of the things that everybody has adopted yet. But this will, like I said, this will get better and faster. You can send a ticket in and say, hey, my automated ordering is not working currently, even though I have a green, your credit card has been tokenized message. And then we will definitely take a look at it. Our team takes a look at it and sees what might be the reason that it's not passing through properly to Amazon. And we can let you know that. But it's, until then, you can continue fulfilling as you've been fulfilling. We're going to be adding a lot more retailers to be fulfilling through as well, especially with the Amazon automation coming out. We want to make sure that that gets fulfilled very quickly, because some of our users on Monopoly, especially, they make 50 sales a day, and then we need to make sure that those get fulfilled properly and quickly. So we're definitely on it. Okay. All right, so we'll address last two questions, and then we will move on to the final part of the webinar. Okay, the final questions. Kevin, do you want to pick two questions that have not been answered yet? Okay, the first question is, Kevin, are you recording?
And the answer is yes.
Yes, okay, so that's one of the two questions. And then the other question is, go ahead and pick one, Kev.
Here we go.
I'm kidding. We'll go with two.
When can we purchase Genesis and deduct our tickets? People are looking to deduct tickets from the Genesis price.
The plan was, like described multiple times, that we're going to get the Amazon automation ready, and then we're going to do a nice little opportunity launch for people to buy Monopoly and Genesis together at a lower price, minus the ticket price. So that would be the best way to put it out there. I'd also considered speeding that up and actually just giving the Genesis discount right now, because quite honestly, the way we are seeing things, the stuff that I've seen on the eBay side and the stats that we just talked about and I showed you guys, they are really, really dwarfed by what our members are doing on Amazon. Okay, so we really do want to get you guys to that point faster. So since we are a little ways away from Amazon automation yet, maybe we will try and get you the Genesis checkout with a discount. Maybe we'll get that to you a little faster. Okay, so we'll try and do that for you guys. Okay, let's say that within the next 1 week, I will have the Genesis discounted checkout page for you guys. Okay, and that's easy to do because I already built that last year. We just turn that back on.
Oh yeah, who's excited about that? I just want to see who's excited about that. Yeah, cool.
Surprisingly, a lot of people. I didn't think that so many people. That's another thing that always surprises me, because in my head I'm always like, oh, I mean, by now people would have graduated to Genesis. Like they just should have, because I see these numbers and I'm like, why would you not? I mean, again, the numbers that I just showed you guys on the eBay side, the 6 sales a minute and stuff like that, those are really minor compared to the sales that people get on Amazon right now. Okay, so in my head it's always like, if I was in your place, like just the way that I am, I would always go for what's going to give me the highest return on my time and what's going to give me the highest return in the shortest time period. How can I scale up the fastest? And so for me, that's like a no-brainer. I always want to move on to the Monopoly and Genesis side of things as quickly as I can. But I totally get. I mean, I've always been a proponent of taking your time. Take your time. If you don't have the money, don't spend the money and build up to it. But I totally get you guys want to get to it quickly. We will get the discount checkout page for you guys right away. Okay. All right, Kevin, pick one more question, please.
All right.
By the way, there was a question, when will the DSD consultations be available? And they're available right now. You can just go to the expert consultation page. You can go to DSD Consult, and this video will walk you through. There's some random Indian guy who talks about this stuff and how this page works. And you can just go through and get that done.
Yep. Now, random Indian guy. So I got a couple questions. When will the event stuff be available? If you bought event tickets, it's available now. You should see it right there in the back office under training. So if you toggle training.
Right here and right here.
Yep. Now, who is interested in us selling that again? Because right now, there's no way to actually purchase it and get access to it. Do you guys want us to open that up so people can purchase the event recordings? Is that something you guys are interested in? Okay, if you bought a ticket, again, it's there. If you're interested in us making a page where you guys can purchase those and get the event tickets, then we can, or get the event recording, you can do that as well. But you may want to hold tight and kind of reevaluate that answer in about 10 seconds here when we talk about what we're about to talk about.
Okay.
Everyone wants to see Kevin Thompson. Yes. Everybody wants to see Kevin Thompson's speech.
Yeah.
We should probably just put that on the page so you guys can see it. For those of you who don't know, Kevin Thompson is kind of the attorney in the MLM space, and he came to our event and gave a speech. He is awesome, Carly, and he was just blown away by our membership base. In fact, we had a lot of pretty big influencers backstage just kind of watching. We had a lot of people from other companies come over just to look at our event to see what we were doing, because there's always events going on, and there's a lot in that area. And they were all shocked, like just ridiculously shocked at what we are doing and how our members are actually making money, because you've got to understand, and I say this in the sales video when you signed up. If you came in recently, you heard me say this. Outside of DS Domination is nothing but abysmal failure, okay, in other network marketing companies, because all you're trying to do is sell and tell and sell and tell and sell and tell. You've seen it here that that income, those $2 billion in sales, were not done by telling and selling. Those were done by people using the platform. So if you're new, I would normally say get a piece of that, but you're not even going to get a piece of that. Add to it, right? Add to that pie. And you'll do awesome. But you don't have that opportunity anywhere else. So these guys were just blown away, and Kevin Thompson was one of the speakers there. And again, they were just all shocked because our members just make money, and they're not used to seeing that. They're used to seeing the facade of making money, but not actually happening. So this was a very big shock to them. But I want to shut up, and I want to get on to the next part because I'm pretty excited about this.
Okay. So the next part, which in many ways is kind of the the whole thing has been kind of crescendo building up to it. So like we said, there's all these partnerships, there's all this stuff going on in the background, and a lot of things that we've kind of learned even from the last 2 events that we have done and what's going on there. So we basically have a major thing happening, and we obviously are coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and based on very tremendous demand, based on a lot of polls that we did internally at various different webinars that we did in the past, we actually have a date for our next event. Okay, but this next event is going to be a very unique experience. It's going to be very different, in fact, even from the events we've had. I mean, our events were already a very unique experience because they weren't these hype fests. Let's get up there and share our story about how DSD saved my life, and then I told my aunt about it, and then I told my uncle about it, and then they kicked me out because I was telling them to buy my stuff. It's nothing like that. It's usually really, really strong content. It's very good information and all the stuff. But we have basically decided to go a route where the whole event is going to be about generating you guys an immediate income during the event itself. And we actually did a little test of it this last time with the trips that we organized. They were basically shopping trips, and you went shopping, you went scanning together by the hundreds, and we actually got special permission from a store, thanks to Parish and Nikki Witherspoon. We got special permission from a store. People were able to go there, shop stuff, send it into Amazon, and we actually had users basically making money by the time they left the store. There were people making money in the parking lot. Basically, it was very, very exciting. Everybody did really well. But we decided that we're going to scale that up to the whole new level. So the next event is actually going to be very much about, you're going to come over there. There's going to be shopping trips already organized. We're going to have transportation available. You guys are going to go on the shopping trip. You're going to come back. We have a station set up for shrink wrapping and so on, so you can actually wrap everything out. You can send it out. You're basically going to be making money at the event. Okay, that's the idea. It's going to be more of a workshop style, so you're not only going to do that, but we're actually going to also have vendors available right there. So we're going to actually invite some vendors over that you will be able to get very, very cheap inventory from directly. If you're looking to get into FBA, you can use it for that. If you're looking to get into many other things, you might be looking to get into eBay Valet service, for example. You can get into that as well. There are a lot of different options that will be available to you to essentially scale your business up tremendously. Now, obviously, given the volume that we have been doing, things change tremendously, right? Because now suddenly everybody wants to come to our events and do deals with our membership base, because our membership base is tremendous. Our membership base is the biggest, strongest team of not just dropshippers, and not just arbitrage people, but really business owners, right? I mean, you are the guys who have anywhere from a few $100s being made on eBay to a few $1,000s a day being made on Amazon with your own products that you have brought in. So very, very different dynamic is going to be what you're going to experience when you come to the next event. So our next event is actually not that far away. We are going to be holding it at the end of October. We're going to put out a very specific date for it. We're going to put out everything else for it and details on how it's going to play out very soon here. But we're just going to give you guys a heads up. This last event that we did, we had 1,700 some people who purchased tickets to attend it. We had about a month's notice really given to our user base because there were a lot of things going on. But we're going to give plenty of time to everyone to get ready. It's going to be in one of the largest hotel and one of the largest venues in the world. It's going to be a tremendous experience for everybody. Anybody who came to the Dallas event, the new location is going to dwarf it in terms of both the accessibility, the reach, the size, everything else. So we are very excited about what's coming, and I think it's going to be very exciting. And we would like you to start planning for that, because this is not going to be, like I said, this is not going to be an event that you're just going to come to and you're just going to hang out and end a party. It's going to be an event that's really going to be, you're going to come over to basically take your business to the next level and to generate income. And obviously you'll get to network a lot and you'll get to do a lot more good stuff, but by and large, it's going to be all about profit generation for you guys.
A working event. Our goal, I mean, when we did the last event, We had people get on a bus, go to a store, and then on their way, before they even left the parking lot, they had made money. And we've never seen an event out there in history where people make money by being at the event like that. It doesn't happen. Most of the time, the whole game plan for other events is come to this event and go ahead and buy our next big product, or buy our product, buy a higher level of our product, or something like that. And that's how the affiliates get paid for getting people there, okay? Because it's one big upgrade fest. We're not doing that. What we're doing is we want to make sure that when you get to this event, that one, you get some of the top training from our trainers inside of DS Domination, some of the just amazing content that they're bringing to the table. But also you're going to be put in an environment where you're doing activities that when you take home, when you leave, you'll be able to carry those forward into your life on a daily basis to generate you an income. And while you're there, generate you an income. And our goal is that everyone that comes to this event profits from being at the event, gets to learn how to do all this e-commerce stuff right there, actually does it, have shrink wrap stations and boxes and things you can start sending stuff out on, and buses coming in and out. I mean, it's something that no one's really done before, and this is what we're looking to do. So anyone who comes to our event, we want them to make money while they're there, doing exactly what they're going to do when they leave. So exactly. That's what we're excited about. Okay, we're not big about the hype and stuff like that. I think the last event we had 2 sessions where we celebrated our members' monetary success, where we had them come up on stage. They got big checks and stuff like that. But we want everyone up on stage. We want to be able to just pan the audience and say who's made money at this event, and have everyone just going nuts because that's what they did, with skills they can take home with them to make even more money. It'll be a blast. I'm excited about it because it'll be just a huge working event. Hitesh and I and all the leaders will be out in the crowd, mingling, walking through, making sure you guys have everything that you need to make sure you make money while you're there. It'll be really cool. So who here, just out of curiosity, who on this call is dead set is going to be there with us, is going to come visit us? Cool, cool, cool. Check it out, Hitesh. This is awesome. So this is going to be fun. We're gonna have a blast.
Now, one little warning. There will be at this point in time, it appears there will be some media presence there. There will be some media presence even at the stores. We're actually going to get some. We're in some discussions with multiple stores, because when you go in with a few hundred people into a specific store, we actually need to get permission from them and say, look, can you reserve this store for nobody but DS Domination members? And that basically is the way it's going to play out. So there'll actually be some media presence as well, because it's very interesting, especially local news stations, when there is stuff like this happening, and what's going on, why are all these people congregating at a store, and how the store managers love it, and so on. So all of that stuff is going to happen. It's going to be tremendous fun. Everybody's going to enjoy themselves. But at the same time, everyone's going to enjoy themselves, and you'll be able to fund it at the same time, because it's going to be fun that you fund. Anyways, we're gonna announce the details of the location, the hotel, everything else. We actually also negotiated already, and you're going to be able to get very, very, very cheap accommodations in one of the best hotels in the world. And you just all around, it's going to be awesome. One of the things that we have learned so far, and we are, I like to think we are somewhat quick learners. And one of the things that we have learned over just the last 2 events is that if we can make it accessible, if we can make it cheap, and we can make it very, very successful for you guys in terms of a pure financial decision. If you're going to make more money by coming to the event than you do by then the money you're going to spend attending the event, then it's a successful thing, right? That's what we all want to do. And every other MLM, you are expected to spend money to go to these events, to mingle, to basically build up the 5 people out of the 1,000 who actually made money, which are the big team leaders of
which is ridiculous.
This is a totally opposite thing. Ridiculous. This is horrible. We actually love to have ourselves and the leaders sitting in the crowds and celebrate all of our customers and all of our members, because that's what has gotten to this 2 billion, right? It's not these 5 or 10 affiliates. As useful as they are, as instrumental as they are, as much as we love them, it's been this effort of all of our customer base, and so that's what we are going to be working on. So towards the end of October, We're going to give you guys the specifics. Just be prepared. Be very, very excited about what's going to happen. We're going to start disclosing details over time, and we're going to start breaking it down. And you're going to see the tickets and everything else is going to be put out there. And as usual, the ticket prices will be used for all sorts of fun stuff for you guys. Okay. So, who would like for us to get that Genesis page up for you guys right away?
Yeah, we need the Genesis page up right away.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, and you know what? The other thing we've been getting is we've been getting tickets from members asking, can we get that IDP level, the yearly IDP package out again? Okay, who would like to get the yearly IDP package back again temporarily, because we can't do that all the time. Okay, and then we have a ton of those too. So I guess we need to work on Genesis, we need to work on yearly IDP, and we will get that out. I guess that's our homework. So did we address at least a tremendous percentage of your questions about different automation things?
You said at least a tremendous. Did we address
Yes.
at least every single one of them?
Well, I didn't want to say did we address everything, right? But I also didn't want to say did we address a small part, but did we address like a significant percentage? Oh, how do we access the thumb drive content? It's right here on the VIP event recording page. Just go there and you'll have everything on there. Awesome. So it looks like we have overall it quite well. I want to address one thing with the yearly IDP thing. We are not going to open that up for old members. If we do open that up, it would be only for people who never had the chance to get it, because I don't think it's fair to people who already got it, right? I mean, the people who got it because they jumped on the opportunity and they got it, and I don't think it's fair to like reopen it and be like, oh, you guys are going to get it again. So we're going to restrict that to members who have been members only since June 15th, because those guys obviously never got the chance to do it. So it's got, you know, the few thousand members who have been here since June 15th, that'll be a chance just for them, not for everybody else. The Genesis, however, is going to be opened up for everyone. Okay. All right, so we'll work on the Genesis checkout, and we'll get you guys the specifics on the event. Be prepared, it's going to be awesome, and then we will talk with you guys soon.
Awesome. Cool. All right, so I guess that's it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for being here. I know it was kind of short notice for a lot of folks, but this is this recording will be up, so let your teams know it will be up in probably about an hour or so.
Beautiful. And then remember, tomorrow we have the training with for UG.
We do. So I'll be well. I got to get with Trent on that. So let me get with him on that. Make sure that we're all kosher.
Alrighty. Okay, guys. All of you have fun. You're amazing. We truly appreciate you. Like, genuinely. Okay, this is not just like a parting thing that you say because you're a politician and you're trying to woo the crowd to get campaign donations. We genuinely appreciate you guys. I think the numbers speak for themselves. You've actually done a tremendous work. And it's been awesome being a part of this. And we look forward to seeing you all at the event and taking this to a whole other level. And it's just awesome. So all of you have a great night, and we will see you on the next webinar at some point.